Okay, guys, Adam Trigger here. It's Wednesday. Happy New Year's. It's time for On the Clock. No show yesterday because I was on my way out to Olean for the St. Bonaventure VCU game. But if you're following me on X or Twitter, which I still call it, like you should be, at Adam Trigger WT, you would have got that play for free because I posted a video of it there. I actually have I've hit 4 straight now when I've been at the game, posted the play. All have been client plays. They've all won, and they've all been for free on my Twitter account. So please give me a follow there. Please like and subscribe because I plan to do this show every single day. Pretty much the only time we're not going to have an on the clock show is if I'm stuck in the car traveling somewhere. So I'll be with you right through one shining moment on Championship Monday. And then if you guys want it, I'll do it for baseball as well. So we're going to try to keep this rolling. The buzzer, New Year's resolution, guys, got to get a new buzzer. The iPhone $1.29 buzzer has to go, but that's what we're stuck with right now. So 90 seconds on the clock, and we'll get to it with, the marquee matchups are going to get better. I think they expected this to be like a big standalone marquee matchup between UNC and Louisville. And honestly, it really still is. Like I think before I start the timer, like a point, just a general point. For these power conference teams, the season really does start today. North Carolina and Louisville, nothing that's happened to this point really truly matters. And I'm going to start the timer now as we talk about this game. Like the season starts today for these power conference teams. Everything in November and December is forgiven for a team like North Carolina and for a team like Louisville if you kill it in conference play. Biggest thing in this game for me will be the status of Seth Trimble, who did not play in North Carolina's most recent game against Campbell. The reason I say that is I've got these two teams pretty close on the number. My number comes out right to about where it is at Louisville -1 and right around pick. But if Trimble were to be out, I would definitely bump it a couple, like at least a point in Louisville's favor. He's 14.8 points per game for North Carolina. He's arguably their best defender. We don't really know why he was out. Upper body injury is all that I could find on that. But if he were to be out for this game, I think that matters. And then I'm just willing to buy low on Pat Kelsey right now, who I still think is a tremendous coach. I loved him at Charleston. I expect him to do extremely well at Louisville. And listen, this guy got dealt a tough hand. Ali Khalifa never played this year, out for the season. He loses Kason Pryor 7 games into the season, and he's trying to put together what is an entirely new roster. So I'm willing to give Pat Kelsey a break on some of the November and December results. Now it's game time, conference play, home game. I lean toward Louisville. This is certainly not my favorite game of the day, but it is the biggest game. So very similar to Monday, Iowa State, Colorado. Like I kind of have the number right there, but my lean is toward Louisville. So do what you will with that. For show purposes, we'll call it Louisville pick. I think I saw a few minutes ago. And I do think that goes off like -1.5 or -2 if Trimble is in fact ruled out. All right, total of the day. Let's go over to the Missouri Valley. Drake and Illinois Chicago. You're gonna hear like a lot of people are gonna want you to bet against Drake. Like all of the analytics are gonna tell you to start betting against Drake. I'm not betting against this team. I think they're that good. I think you can see. I think they might be the team that's like 18-0 at some point. And who knows? They could lose this game on the road today. I'm not fading Drake right now. But what I will do in this one is look toward the over because I think 131.5 is low for how efficient Drake is on offense and how much ability Illinois Chicago has to score the ball. So Illinois Chicago will play fast if they can. I don't know if they'll be able to. Drake's good at slowing teams down and making them play the way they want to play. But I do think Illinois Chicago could get into a little bit of a sloppy type game. They turn it over a ton, and Drake is as good as any team in this conference defensively. 13.5 turnovers per game for UIC. It could create some easy scoring opportunities for Drake. Now, I'm just kind of doing the math here. Drake averages 73.8 points per game. I think they probably hit their average. Illinois, Chicago, outside of the top 200 defensively, I think Drake, even if they play slow, even if they can slow this down, is going to be efficient enough to get their 65, 70 points, or we'll call it, to break 70. And I don't think this is going to be a wipeout game like the Belmont game was a few days ago, where Drake's at 65, but Belmont gives you nothing, and then the game just dies. And, it ends up no extension. It's a 20-point final. I think Illinois-Chicago is more competitive. So, if Drake gets to 70, I don't think it's out of the question at all that Illinois-Chicago is at 60 or potentially more. The spread here is 6.5. That's exactly where I have the number for this game. I'm right at 6. So no lean on the side, but I do think the total of 131.5 is probably 4 or 5 points lower than I thought it would be. So for total of the day, we're going over in Drake, Illinois, Chicago. All right. Amazingly, I put up a poll last night that was up for 9 hours, and we had a dead even tie. So I'm just going to do both of them, but we'll use UNC Greensboro Wofford for the boots on the ground segment. And the reason I think that this qualifies for that is I was at this game last year, although I was at the Greensboro edition of the game. So this is in Wofford. I've also seen both of these teams play this year so far. A couple weekends ago, I was down with my buddy AK in Aaron Kidd. You should be following him on Twitter as well. In North Carolina, we got to see Greensboro play at NCAAB. We got to see Wofford play at Elon. And I'll start my handicap here. Let's go back to that Wofford Elon game. Wofford, in my opinion, has some issues. I think they're going to be able to score at times. They can put the ball in the basket, but when they played, for example, when they played a team like Elon, who was able to really defend the paint and push them outside of the paint and force them into the 3-point shot, they really had trouble scoring. And I feel like that might happen here. Now, Greensboro doesn't have the size in down low that Elon does. Of course, Elon 7'4", Matt Van Komen, Sam Cherry, is a really good defender. But Mike Jones has always had physical defensive teams. Now, my concern is UNC Greensboro in their last two competitive games against D1 competition, they got torched by North Florida, and Elon went off on them in the second half of that game. But I do think they maybe have some time to regroup from that. I just think they're better. Even though my number comes out right around 2.5, where it is right now, I don't like what I've seen from Wofford. I got to see them play last year against Greensboro. I thought Greensboro had a great game plan for attacking them in that game. I was not impressed when I saw Wofford play Elon this year. Wofford's just kind of a team I'm willing to fade, and you're going to give me 2.5 points. This is really close for me. This got hit at 3 overnight, right? It got up to 3, got hit, got down to 1.5. It's back to 2.5. This is a noon tip. I'm very close to firing Greensboro plus 2.5 as a client play. I think if it's widely available at 2.5, I may get there just because I'm willing to fade Wofford. I think Greensboro comes with a better defensive effort here. And if they can keep Wofford out of the paint and keep them shooting threes, Wofford shooting just 31% from 3 as a team this year. That's a play that I've got my eye on for today. And now we'll go into the poll play that finished dead heat, which was Chattanooga Mercer. So we'll get a double dose of SoCon on the show today. And this is an interesting one because I really like what I've seen from Mercer recently. Ryan Ritter, first-year coach, comes over from Tennessee Martin. He profiles as the type of coach I want to back these days. Think he just turned 40, young guy. He has the energy. These are the coaches that I think are winning in today's game, where everyone's transferring in and out, and there's NIL. I just, guys like Tony. This is a reason Tony Bennett retired. This is the reason that Jim Larinaga has to hang it up, right? It's definitely turned into a younger man's game, in my opinion, from a coaching perspective. And so that's why I think Mercer's trending up, because they're still priced as a bottom team in this league. But I believe in Ritter, and sort of what they're doing offensively. They're playing fast, 82.6 points per game. So Mercer's impressed me. That being said, I got to go back to the beginning of the season and at least acknowledge the fact that I picked Chattanooga to win this league. And so that's what's kind of, it's difficult for me, even though my numbers say Mercer +4 is the right side. There's two things. Chattanooga started the season without Bash Whelan and Frank Champion. Both of them are back. Now, Champion hasn't been nearly as impactful as I thought he would be. This was a guy that was scoring close to 18 points a game at the Division II level. He hasn't really been a scorer yet for them in the 5 games since he's been back. But I think it's notable because I think they're lacking what I thought he would bring to this team. Now, Huff is a stud. Bonham is a stud. Chattanooga is still really good, but this number is big. So this is a lean toward Mercer for me. And I guess I'll just kind of leave it at that. My number likes Mercer. I like this Mercer team. I just don't really want to bet against Chattanooga. That's like my fear is being high on Chattanooga early in the year, going against them, and then having them all show up and just lay it on Mercer. But I do lean Mercer at +4. All right, time for parlay of the day. We got to hit one of these. I hit the first 2, and it's been cold on parlay of the day. Seattle, I can't believe they ruined Monday's parlay. I would have said that was the least likely leg to ruin that bet. But so what I'm going to do today, because I don't really like any favorites, we're going to see if we can get it all back at once. So obviously, parlay, this is a 10-1 parlay on all underdogs. So keep that in mind. Should be a pizza money play at best. But that's what we're going to do. We last week we did one of these, hit 2 of 3, came very close to hitting a 10-1 shot. And so today I'm simply going to parlay the money lines from Greensboro, Mercer, and then I'm just going to use my buddy Freddie Mills' play on Butler. So that's another guy you should be following on Twitter for college basketball stuff. Freddie is the man. His stuff is as good as anyone's I've ever seen. So give him a follow on Twitter and thank him because we're going to steal his Butler play and we'll throw Butler money line in there. And who knows, maybe I think that game is later. So if Greensboro and Mercer can get it done, then maybe we'll be live into Butler for 10-1 on the parlay of the day. But yeah, that comes out to like plus 980, 10-1, like depending on, what book. Some of them have different numbers on that. But the parlay of the day today, all underdogs, 10-1, Greensboro money line, Mercer money line, Butler money line. Happy New Year, everybody. Subscribe to the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Give me a follow on X at AdamTriggerWT, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Good luck, cash all your tickets, and we'll see you tomorrow.